Hey, everybody, it's Dana Brooks of Basic Brooks, and you are watching another episode of the EmPower Hour brought to you by the EmPower Plant. I am joined again this week by some of our regular panel members. We've got Kia Thomas, our communications director here. Hey, Kia.
Hey.
Hey, we've got Kimmy Hogan, my law partner, Kimmy.
Good afternoon.
Welcome back. So glad to have you. We're missing Carrie Roan this week because she is taking a well-earned, well-deserved vacation. I think she right now is probably doing some extreme sport in the dry Tortugas, probably rappelling or cave diving, self-diving, something that makes you feel lazy. We've got Rose Caswick back. Thank you, Rose, for rejoining the EmPower Hour after being out in the courtroom. Kicking what and taking names the last several weeks, and we're happy to have you join us again, particularly for one reason, and that is this divine cocktail you have created today. This is lovely. This is refreshing. It is timely for the late summer when you just don't think you're going to make it to those cool temperatures. This is some kind of a watermelon business. Tell us about it.
Yeah, I saw this recipe on Chrissy Teigen's website. It's a watermelon slush. You freeze the cubes with like a lime and sugar mixture, the cubes of watermelon, and then add vodka and blend. And I love anything watermelon, so it's sort of me inspired this week.
It's inspired. I was late to the watermelon game. As a child, I didn't like watermelon or cucumber. I thought they kind of tasted the same. Now I'm obsessed with them. Everything I'm doing is
I was always like with the watermelon candy, watermelon anything growing up. So that has
me. Now at the skating rink, a watermelon now and later was refreshing.
All right.
Y'all, we have a great show today. We have a woman who is doing so much. She's another one of these people who makes me feel lazy. She's got her hands in everything. She's helping her husband's business thrive and grow. She is helping women, especially moms, feel good about making time for themselves. Why is that a crazy thing? Why do we need help doing that? You know why we need help doing it, because we put everybody first. So she's going to tell you about putting yourself first and not feeling bad about it. And she's going to talk about working with Barbara Westcott and Women Wednesdays and their efforts to make Tallahassee the #1 city for women in the country. Can you imagine? We're an all-American city, and we know we can do this. And so that didn't have a bunch of women behind it, right? And that happened. You get a bunch of women behind it, oh, this is happening. So stay tuned for it. But we have got Verlonda Johnson with us today. Welcome, Verlonda.
Thank you. Thank you. Excited to be here.
Tell us, first of all, just a little bit about yourself. Where you're from, what you do, what your passions are, what turns you on.
Yeah, so I am from Tallahassee, Florida, born and raised. I have been here all of my life. As you stated, my husband has a roofing and construction company that we run and manage together here in Tallahassee.
What's it called? Shameless plug.
Okay, it's Preeminence Contracting. So if you need your roof done, hurricane season is coming, let me know.
Good to know.
But we have a branch here in Tallahassee, Jacksonville, and Orlando. I have 3 kids, 5, 3, and 1.
What?
Yeah, I know. It's rough.
You have time to be on this right now. You got a whole hour.
I have to kick them out of the house for a little bit, but yeah.
Okay.
It's crazy. But yes,
when I see it.
I love all things women empowerment, pushing women to do what it is that they're called to do and what it is they're passionate about doing. I love helping women to step out, get beyond fear. Let's figure out a strategy, a plan of how we can execute this. If it's starting a business, what does that look like? How do we monetize it? How do we market it? Who is your target? I love all those things about helping women to just do what makes them feel good inside. What helps, their heart to skip a beat, and what gives them butterflies when they're doing it. I love to help them find out what's that thing you would be doing every day if you didn't get paid for it. That's what we need to focus on. So I love all those things. And more importantly, I love helping moms to feel good about themselves too. It's so hard to, as you stated, we do so much for everyone else, and we kind of get the end, what's left of it. Yeah. So I love being able to encourage moms and support them and let them know that they're not alone in this. We are all struggling. We're all trying to figure it out. We're all trying to manage, and we all make mistakes, but we're going to do this together.
Yeah. I love it. Because when I think about moms, I think about the person who gets a little piece of chicken, the ends of the bread,
Yeah.
because she's taking care of everybody else. And I have
Absolutely.
got some people here who have children, young
Yeah.
children, that they're parenting, working full time, plus they're supporting their spouses' efforts, they're supporting what their children are doing. You know, Kimmy, what do you think when you hear somebody who says, I'm particularly interested in empowering moms?
Ah, I love it. I love it. So I have Verlonda, I have two boys, a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old. And I feel like I had this realization recently where I went, I feel like I'm having a little bit more time, like just a
Yeah.
little bit, because now my
Right.
baby's turned 2. And I went, whew, that was a little bit rough.
You can exhale.
Yes.
You can
Yes.
exhale.
I think that's so cool. I want to hear more about how you do that, how you help moms to find
Yeah.
their passion.
What
Yeah.
is choosing me unselfishly? That's your project. Tell us about
Right.
that.
So it actually came, I'll be very transparent. It actually came out of postpartum depression for me. Um, yeah. Okay. So it's real. And I want people to realize that it is real.
For real.
And yeah. So I had been kind of like just going through the motions with it for a while, kind of just like, oh, putting it in the back burner, not really dealing with it, thinking that it would go away. But it didn't. And after the third baby, and he came right before COVID. And then COVID shut down, kids were at home, and it was like, I I might lose it today or tomorrow. I literally might lose it. And I had to just sit back and analyze and figure out what was I doing and how did I get here and how do I get out of this space. I figured that, I was helping my husband, I was helping in my church, I was helping at the school and the PTA, the class moms and both kids and doing all of these things, all the things, and I was putting no energy and focus into myself, none whatsoever. And when I did have a little time, I was too tired. I'd rather sleep. I would rather, do nothing. I was like, oh, I'm not doing anything that really drives me. And I said epiphany one day, I guess. I don't know. One day I told my husband, I was like, I'm leaving for a couple days. I'm just going away. No kids,
Good
no
for
husband.
you.
I'm
Good
just
for
going.
you.
I don't have an agenda. I'm just leaving and I'll be back on Monday. So I dropped the kids off at school on Thursday, took a slow ride to Destin. I stayed in the room probably most of the time, but when I tell you it was the best 4 days I have ever had in my life. And I was like, this is what I needed. I needed this moment to just refresh, to refuel, to refocus, to just kind of be by myself. I didn't have mommy, I need juice, I need snacks. I didn't have my husband saying, can you help me with this? I had none of that. It was just me. And so I was like, yeah, this is what everyone needs. And so what choosing me unselfishly is essentially is helping other moms get back to self-care, realize who you are, who you were before you had kids, before the husband, before all those things and all those hats that you wear. Who were you before that? Who was that girl, that fun loving girl that used to like to, I don't know, skydive or used to like to roller skate? And you haven't done that since then. Who was that girl? Get back to her. Helping them to figure out how to incorporate self-care, small things. It could be riding a bike, it could be going to the park, it could be swimming, but small things that you do for yourself that are intentional.
Right.
And the other thing that we do, that I like to do, is to help them figure out how to simplify their lives, because it's crazy. I mean, I have 3 kids, and they've got their own schedule. I don't know how at 5 and 3 they have their own agendas, but they do.
Children are more scheduled than we are.
They have more birthday parties than I have like ever had in my whole entire
They need
lifetime.
managers. They need
They do. So it's helping them to simplify their lives, whether it's through meal planning, whether it's helping them come up with bedtime. I want to help them to simplify their lives and then transform their mindset. So we're not going to think negatively. We're not going to have those negative thoughts. We're not going to look at Pinterest all day and compare our house, that house in Pinterest, because that's not real. We're not going to compare our kids to the kids across the street who seem to be perfect. We're going to realize what we have here, and we're going to make the best of what we have, because this is what we have and we love it. So that's what we try to do. We try to, encourage, support, uplift, all of that.
No, I'm 100% here for all of that. But I do want to know this: how how did it occur to you that this was the time and that was what you needed to do, was to take your 4-day break? Were you about to flip out, or did you
Oh, I think
contemplate like, this is something I need to do for self-care and I'm not going to feel guilty about it? Because some people, because you could do that intentionally, or you
yeah,
could just play it an escape. Sometimes you just need to go, I'm leaving, and I'm sure you people will figure it out,
yeah.
but I've got to escape from here. So in either way, how do you get 4 days of that and not feel guilty?
It took me 5 years to not feel guilty. I have needed this for 5 years, and I always felt guilty. I like to be in control of a lot of things,
Mm-hmm.
and I like to be in control of even sometimes it's sad to admit, but even like my husband and how he parents the kids and what he feeds them for dinner and all that kind of thing.
Oh,
I
yeah.
like to know what's going to be in control. So it was hard. So I have to give credit to my husband because he was actually the one like, listen, you need to go. And
Good.
it's so good to have a good supporting husband or spouse or partner who realizes what you're going through and says, you need that vacation. And so it made it easy. Now I was worried sick about my kids that they were going to have like cereal and chocolate candy for dinner. But I was like, you know what?
They'll
If they're
live.
alive when I get back, whatever. I don't care.
Right.
Yeah.
You can put them on a cleanse. You can do a cleanse. Here's the thing. I want to take a minute here, if I can, just to change our flow and talk about men.
Okay. Yeah.
When we promoted this show, somebody sent me a message and said, "Are men allowed to watch?"
No.
I said, I'm obviously not marketing this the right way, because I would hope that wouldn't be a question, because in my
Right.
opinion, it's not a us versus them thing. And
Right.
if we go at it, anything,
Yeah.
any problem, if you go at it with an us versus them thing, all you're doing is really just gearing up for a longer fight.
Yeah.
So to me, a lot of men have a lot of advantages. They got there first. Their bros got there first. Their network of bros got there first, build them up, and they're just now kind of getting comfortable with women being in certain arenas. So they are learning also. And so I don't like for people to assume that because something is foreign to them or uncomfortable to them, that they're necessarily against it, or that
Right.
that's your enemies. We're not going to get anywhere without enlisting the help of enlightened, empowered, equitable men. So
Exactly.
I want to give top praise to your husband for seeing that you needed this, and
Yeah.
I mean, obviously he's working full time. Obviously he's used to somebody taking care of a lot of stuff, but you know
Yeah.
what? He lived, your kids lived, and I bet your marriage was stronger for it. I'm certain that you were. And so I know Kimmy Hogan, you got a very awesome husband. Kia, I've met your husband, and you've got everything on your plate. What is going on here? So take care of this, please.
Hang up on them.
Blooper.
I do. Okay, that was unprofessional.
It happens.
Hey,
It happens.
yeah, no. It's fine. Let's see. Am I here? Where am I? Uh-oh.
I was going to say, so yesterday, my husband looked at me and was like, Kimmy, why don't you go to yoga tonight? And I'm like, I don't know. He's like, Kimmy, you really need to go to yoga tonight.
You can go calm down at yoga tonight.
No, I insist on yoga tonight, is what
Yeah,
he's
like he could tell my stress levels coming up, and he's like, you should.
maybe it's a good time for some yoga.
Yeah,
Just thinking out loud.
Kimmy, did you go to yoga?
I did.
Good.
I went. It was awesome, and it was just what I needed.
Good for
See,
you.
I want to do that, but I'm afraid they won't let me, be me. Like, you'll have to be quiet and sweat.
Probably so.
Loud yoga.
Those are two things that usually don't happen to me at the same time. No, I love it. I do want to shout out to the wonderful men that support women and are at least open to reconsidering gender roles and gender norms, and whether there's any real value in it. Because I preach about this all the time. I think this be a man and what it's like to be a man, I think that's as toxic and harmful to men as it is to women. I think they could use a little help. I think their dreams matter. I think they need to be supported and protected and
Absolutely.
promoted. And I think that if we do that to each other, we're gonna cover a lot of ground quickly and make the world a better place. Rose, what are you thinking whenever you think about Tallahassee winning an award for the nation's top city for women. What would that look like in your view?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I kind of wanted to get to, because I'm not married and I don't have children, and but I did want to know more about
You do have a very demanding cat, though.
Yeah.
Oh, so demanding. I've
That's
never just left her for a week at a time before to go to a trial or anything.
No self-care.
She can manage for herself. But what does that, I don't know. I don't have any idea what it means for Tallahassee to be the #1 city for women. Is it like the legislation, the equality, like initiatives that we have in place, ordinances for anti-discrimination, or is it opportunities? What makes Tallahassee such a good city for women?
I want to hear you think, but there's a lot of cool things about Tallahassee that a lot of people don't know. And one of them is that we were one of the first counties, I don't know if it's a county or city, but in the country to pass anti-discrimination for LGBTQ.
I knew that. That's very awesome.
That's pretty progressive.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, tell us about the initiative. Tell us what Barbara Westcott at Women Wednesdays is doing. Tell us about your role there. You are the director for the speaker series, aren't you?
Yes.
Tell us more about all.
So the #1 city for women tally is all those things, Rose. It's all those things that you just named and then more. We just want women to again realize their potential, go after it, whether they are CEO, whether they are entrepreneurs or working for someone else in whatever role. We want them to be noticed, recognized. We want them to advance, to excel. So Barbara Westcott created Women Wednesday a few years ago, and it started as co-working at Domi Station, and it grew into a speaker series. So we have a speaker that comes in every Wednesday, phenomenal women speakers. I think you have been there, Dana. Yeah. And we have wonderful speakers that come in. The topics you would never even imagine. They range, it's a broad range. So it's always great. It's a great networking environment. We started co-walking, we started going places. We started so many different initiatives underneath that one brand. It's been great. And so right now we are doing a campaign called the #1 City for Women Tally. You can sign up to go and do a photo shoot, and we're going to spread this as far as we can to let everyone know, where we are, where Tallahassee is on the map, what our women here are doing, whether it's in legislature, whether it's in mechanics, whatever it is. We want to let everyone know what we're doing, how we are growing and building and empowering those women in Tallahassee.
Ooh, I love every bit of that. Kia.
Yes, ma'am.
You heard that.
I did. I just
gotta get in on that.
All these light bulbs went out. Thank you, Verlonda, for adding that to my list of things.
She just told me today her list was tiny, and she goes, "Do you have anything else? Is there anything else?" And I said, "Well, let me just look." No, I'm being completely facetious. Kia's list is so long, but Kia, you're also, full-time working parent of young people, all about women's empowerment, all about changing the world. How do you feel about getting some recognition for everything unique and wonderful about the city that we work and live in and love so much?
I think it's going to be great. Like, my wheels started twirling because I started thinking about different things that we could do. One, as a company to start getting involved, and two, on different levels of how all these women that work here, even in the background, how we can become more involved in this. Because you said so many different initiatives that this is awesome. I have no words due to the fact, which is not normal, by the way, due to the fact that Tallahassee, especially coming from a bigger city, St. Pete, Tampa area, Tallahassee to me has been very slow to move forward. Absolutely. So to hear this initiative, especially about a demographic of women, like Dana was saying, yes, we support our women, our men, but the women sometimes don't get that equity. And I think that's what people need to realize. Yeah, we want equality, but we really want that equity, and to hear.
And equity means fairness.
Exactly.
I understand that. It just means fairness. It doesn't mean 50-50. It means fairness. And so sometimes fairness means, bringing some people up and give them, a little bit of preference in certain things.
Right.
Hurting other people. It just means some people who have been traditionally left behind, it's time to recognize that and give them kind of a step up. I'm digging it entirely. I want to get back to more about the Tallahassee thing, but we've got some commenters. You've got some
Okay.
fans, lady,
Oh,
Verlonda.
okay.
Okay, Linda Smith says you look beautiful, obviously.
Yes.
Loretta Darity, she is so proud of you, super proud of
That's
you.
my mom.
Oh, we love our
Right
mama.
to be
Love
proud.
moms.
Keisha Johnson, you're looking good. You're looking beautiful. Oh my goodness. And then of course we've got Barbara Westcott. You know, talk about her and how you got
Oh my
involved with
gosh.
her and what y'all are doing, because you're doing speaker series for
Oh
her,
my
which is
Yes.
tremendous.
So
I want to get her to get together with me
I-
on this and turn it into a podcast, but I've got a million ideas.
oh my
But
God.
tell me everything about why you're involved in that. Is that a good clearinghouse for women who want to get together with other women?
Yeah.
How are they promoting this, and what can we do to help?
So let me just say this. Barbara Westcott is the ultimate connector, and she is the biggest supporter ever. Like, you won't find anybody else like Barbara. And that is 100% facts. But she really has a vision for Women Wednesday. And when I tell you the vision is huge, it's huge. So as a speaker series coordinator, I try to bring in different speakers, new topics every Wednesday that we want to hear about. And again, it's Women Wednesday, but we've got some fellows that are regular.
Yeah.
They come all the time, and very supportive. But we bring in male speakers too.
Yeah.
But we really want to create a community, is what it is essentially. She's creating a community of women who are connected, who network, who, if I have a need, I know that I have a sister in my community I can go to, she can help. So we're always looking for speakers. It doesn't matter the topic, whether if you're pitching an idea, if you want to have an event coming up that you want to talk about, if you have a new business, a new product, whatever it is, we want you to come on and speak. We are always expanding, always growing. Got some new things coming up in the fall. We've got a great lineup of speakers already. So if you, Dana, we'd love to have you come back. If you have
No,
a
I'll
free
come
one,
back. I'll come back. Just tell me which one we talk about. I'll come back.
I sure will.
The one
I
thing
sure
I can do is talk for an hour.
Yeah.
I think I've established that. You know what? I want to get into something else though. Just real quick. You talk about self-care.
Yep,
And that's a buzzword. Everybody's talking about it all the time. Self-care, self-care.
it is.
But some of those things that used to be called self-care turned into maintenance. Like these
Yeah.
fingernails,
Yeah.
these toes,
Yeah.
that massage. I need to work out the kinks so I can sit in this chair.
Mhm.
Tell me the difference between self-care, maintenance, and just being selfish.
Mm.
So, good question. And the reason that I named this choosing me unselfishly is
Yeah.
because I don't want anyone to feel selfish about self-care. I don't want you to feel selfish about taking care of yourself. Because you take care of everyone else, you cannot feel selfish about doing what you need to do to feel good. So whereas, yes, it can be maintenance, hair, nails, the massage, whatever, it still falls in my category of self-care. The one thing that I say about it is be intentional about it. Whereas we make calendars and schedules for everything else in our lives, you make a schedule for your doctor appointment, everything else, schedule in that time for yourself, whether you call it self-care, whether you call it maintenance, whatever you call it, there's a block on my calendar. This day and this time, my family knows I won't be available, whether it's an hour or 2 hours.
Yeah.
And just be intentional and be routine. So it's weekly. We're not going to go months without it. And then we wait until the pressure is building up and we have to get away and it's too late. So whatever you call it, go ahead.
Prioritize yourself.
Absolutely.
You know, so many people will put that last, but when I am there, this is something I'm guilty of, because I try to multitask. And there was a nail salon here
Yeah.
in town that started when I was in law school. So that was in like 2005.
Mhm.
And so I started going to them when nobody was going to them.
Yeah.
And I've gone to them for years. And so obviously it's been, 16 years now. And so I went in there the other day, and the woman told me this. She goes, as long as you've been coming here, you don't ever seem to enjoy it. You're always reading. You used to read your case books when you were in law school. He goes, and now you're doing something on your phone, returning. And that is true. When I see that I've got a hair appointment, like I literally do this. People make fun of me for this. One of my good friends, she's a lawyer. She goes, that bee can't wash her own hair. Of course I can wash my own hair. But here's the thing, I got a lot of it. It's thick and it's got all this business going on, all kind of treatment. So I pay somebody to wash my hair.
Absolutely.
Okay? I just did it, obviously, because I'm looking fantastic.
It looks good. I was going to say that earlier. You look good.
Me too.
I just did it. But that is, an hour of my time I had to work on other things. If I'm in the shower and I'm blow drying this mess and then I'm trying to calm it back down or whatever, that is about an hour and a half. I don't get anything for. But if I'm sitting in a chair, I could do this. That's okay if you're treating it as maintenance. These are two things I'm doing at one time. But what the woman at the nail salon reminded me was, sometimes a pedicure is a relaxing, wonderful thing. And don't be reading, don't be going through your office email. Don't be, you know what I mean? And for some reason I would feel guilty if I did that, because I'd be like, girl, you just sat down for an hour, your hands were free. Why weren't you doing a million things? And it's just because I beat myself up. I'm like, what did you do?
We're so prone to having to be doing something at all times. We have to do something. We have to be busy. We have to check something off of our list. It's so hard for us to sit still and do nothing.
Yeah. And I think you have to look at it like, there's a million analogies. We've all heard them. We've been women our whole lives, but they'll be like, sometimes you got to fill the tank. Sometimes you got to, when you pour everything out of the pitcher, something's got to be put back into the pitcher. And I think that's what they're talking about on the recharge type of thing. Kimmy, is any of this resonating with you?
Well, I'm just thinking about my friend Erin. I was texting with her earlier, like, you need to hop on this EmPower app. You need to go to this group. But she recently went on a vacation to St. Teresa Beach, and she wrote me and she was like, oh, wow, this is a place where you actually decompress because there's nothing to do except for be at the beach.
Exactly,
and she was like, I didn't realize how bad I was at doing that. And I'm thinking, I mean, that's exactly what we're talking about, is making space to, come back to yourself.
Well, one of the things I've always said is, what's the worst thing you can call a woman? What do you think it is? It's not the C word.
Lazy.
Lazy. Yeah. That is the worst thing you can call a woman, is lazy.
Yeah. We
gotta do something about that. First of all, we got to accept that somebody else calling you something who knows nothing about your life has zero value.
Absolutely.
And the second thing is, it's not lazy, it's self-care. So I just really want people to not just throw the term self-care out there. Like you said, you need to be intentional with it. If I want to work while I'm getting my hair dried, that's cool. But if I want to have a spa day and massage and feet and thing and Zen and the meditation, all that, I get to do that. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with doing that. But let's get back to the top Tallahassee for women. Number one town. What can we do to support that? What is the initiative and what does it look like getting there? What's the goal?
We need speakers. We need to help spread the word, whether it's through word of mouth, through social media. We're always looking to grow our membership. We do have a membership. Spread the word about coming to co-work, to co-walk with us. If you're having an event, we'd love to come and be a part of it so that we can share what we want to share, as well as, you share and we share your events as well. We collaborate, do some things together. We just want to get the word out to every woman in Tallahassee. We want every woman in Tallahassee to step foot in Domi Station whenever we reopen, or log on to us virtually and watch Women Wednesday. And don't be afraid to sign up and come and speak. We'd love to have you. We want to hear your story. Every woman has a story that we want to hear. So spread the word.
Cindy Jackson Wayman, she said, empower women in Tallahassee. She's all excited about it. Barbara Westcott, now she went to, we're doing this Facebook Live. You go to the EmPower plant, and then this is one of the live feeds, so you can get it. But Barbara Westcott is posting some links that talk about this, the best cities for women-owned businesses. And let me get on my soapbox a minute. Why do I care about women-owned businesses? That's a
You are
big,
one?
well, yeah, but it's a big damn deal. And I'll tell you why, because there's a tremendous difference between being an employee and
Yeah.
now both of them have their benefits, both of them have their negatives.
Right.
But when you're an owner, yeah, it's all on you. Yeah, when I walk around this office or I see 50 people, I think, okay, that's 100 car payments. That's probably 150 children. That's probably 50 mortgage or rent payments. And if Jimmy Facing and I drop the ball,
Yeah.
consequences. But you don't get that, that's something that's a motivator, but it doesn't get in your head. You can't think like that. You got to think about, being a creator, doing great things, but you get some autonomy with that. You get a seat at the table when you're an owner. I know
Absolutely.
being an employee has its benefits, but I'm just telling you, if you have an entrepreneurial spirit, pursue it.
Go
And
for it.
if you are risk averse, find a way to become risk comfortable. That doesn't mean, risk taking, reckless. It just means, you got to take chances in life to get some
Absolutely.
payoff, and you got to suffer a little bit, and it may hurt. And the bigger you get, the bigger your detractors are. Some people will come for you, but you just got to know if you're a good person, you're doing the right thing, you can, that stuff just plops off of you. So I really do encourage business ownership, even
Absolutely.
if it starts as a side gig.
Mhm.
Find out what your passion is. You talked earlier, you said about monetizing things. I'm
Yeah.
talking to a lot of people that I mentor right now about turning passion projects into a living.
Absolutely.
What do you have to say on that? Like how to monetize something that you're cool. And let me give you a little bit more background when I talk about. A lot of moms I know, these chicks are leading PTO
Mhm.
organizations. These
Mhm.
women will get to state, national level with PTO because they will fight you for
Yeah.
their kids.
Yeah.
And even though they got all these other responsibilities, they're organized, they're in a structured environment, and they're rising. And there's a
Yeah.
hierarchy involved. It's just like getting paid to do it. So what I say to myself is, you got to be able to find a way to turn that into something you can make money on. And there's a million reasons why women need their own money. Okay, the 3 Ds: divorce, death, disability. If you have hitched your star to the wagon of a provider, someone else that you're relying to bring the money into the home, just understand that person could die, that person could become disabled from working, or that person can leave. Okay. I'm not trying to poo all over traditional relationships, and I love mutual, working together, collaboration, but a lot of people will put their eggs in the basket of a provider without really realizing how vulnerable they are. So
Absolutely.
sometimes your side gigs or your extra things you do for your children, if you keep going with it, and if you open your mind and look at some resources and networks, you can find that you can get paid for that. So what do you tell women who are trying to monetize a side gig, a career, something they're doing?
So I have run into so many women, and I think I used to fall in this category. We have these creative ideas, and we make or do these little things, but we don't see the value in it, and so we don't put a dollar behind it. And so we're almost working for free. We're giving away our product for free.
You are.
Yeah. And there's always this conversation of, well, I don't want to charge this much. I don't want to overcharge. Okay. So what we need to do first is find out who, this is a topic, it's our topic for you. We find out who you're targeting, who's your market. That's who we're going to talk to. Everybody is not your customer, and that's fine. But we're going to find out who your customer is, and that's where we're going to target your product. We're going to create a value around this, whatever this product is, and we're going to market it here and market it hard.
Yeah.
And I find a lot of women they have that, it's really hard for them to try to sell. They feel like they have to have this car salesman mentality, and it's not at all.
No, because you're not manipulating someone into thinking what you're doing has more value than it may. That's not what you're doing. The hard sales things are like that. What I find women have trouble with is just the belief in themselves that what they are doing really has value. Because if you're not getting paid for it, you kind of diminish it yourself. But the only reason you're not getting paid for it is because you're not insisting on that.
Absolutely.
So I am 100% behind that. And I like for people to think of mentors. And Domi Station and the Working Wednesdays Barbara's Project is so good about putting people together. Because not a lot of it, I'd say almost all of the problems we have are of our own creation. They're roadblocks we've created for ourselves in our minds that say, no, this isn't that important. It's not that big a deal. What I like to tell people to do when they're thinking about writing a book, starting a business, starting a podcast, whatever it is, I like to tell you it is make an avatar of
Yep.
your consumer.
Yes.
Then go into the marketplace
Mhm.
as that avatar
Mhm.
and look for what you want,
Yep.
see what's missing, see
Mhm.
what's not there, and then you fill that need.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty
Absolutely.
easy, but you've got to remove from that any belief that, well, I'm not educated enough, or I haven't been in the marketplace long enough. I mean, that kind of stuff, that's the things that used to keep us down, that went out with button shoes. Conventional ways to success, I mean, they may still work because there is still a good boy network, but those people are dying off and they're not
Mhm.
making new ones. Most of our men who are coming up now are enlightened. They realize they need partners. They
Mhm.
realize that they need to collaborate to do well. So I would just ask you to kind of change your mindset about what you feel like your worth is.
Yeah.
Think for a minute, if all the women stopped doing what women do for a day, this world would grind to a halt.
It would stop.
So you are a very important person.
Yeah.
You have a contribution to make. Go find out what it is and you'll find somebody to pay for it. And don't lowball yourself thinking that, well, I'll just be cheaper than everybody else and I'll scoop their business.
Right.
No,
Right.
if you're cheap, you get treated as cheap. You
Absolutely.
know, people, there's Nordstrom's and there's Dollar General.
There you go.
And if you
There
go
you
through the
go.
world, if you go through the world acting like Dollar General, the world's going to treat you like Dollar General.
There you go.
They know your worth. And if you don't know it, find out why. Is it because you're surrounded by people who don't appreciate you? Are you surrounded by people who are threatened by your success? Are you surrounded by people who are so dependent on you that they would rather subjugate you than allow you to flourish? If that's what's going on, think about how you value that relationship. And if you do,
Yeah.
find a way to get it to a different level. And if you find that it's just keeping you down and you're not getting enough for it, please believe in yourself and your future enough to know that you can leave.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to break up partnerships, marriages, businesses. But so much, if you feel like you're having to give so much of yourself or something else to be successful, that's not your place. That's not where you belong.
Yeah.
Let me talk about some other comments. Okay. Taya Wilson says Kia is a superwoman, as if I didn't know that. She says, you've got a gem. I know that. Barbara Westcott, what'd she say? She said, some of the criteria for a solid city for women is women-owned businesses, pay, mobility, educational level. I think we got that. I think Tallahassee is the right place for all of those things. I think we have an above average education level generally, and also with women. I think we have a place for women leadership and business ownership. Look at look at our county and city commissions.
Yes.
How they've changed. We got some diversity now. Let's see. Women Wednesday is a collaborative community of women who help each other succeed. We have multiple programs for women by women to help grow opportunities to connect, collaborate, learn, and be visible. Verlonda has been there from the beginning, and we wouldn't be where we are without her. She's amazing, obviously. Taya threw me a compliment too, Kia. I won't go there, but she thought I looked cute. Let's see. Part of being okay, she said that. Okay. Yeah, and even my daughter appreciated my blowout from Jacksonville.
Yes, it looks good.
Thank you so much. Let's get back to some other things. Okay, Kia, you've been listening to this a while. What do you want to follow up and learn more about from what Verlonda's sharing with us?
I think one, I know you have a co-working space as well.
What does that even mean?
Huh?
What does that even mean? What is co-working?
Verlonda.
So yes, we started, myself, my business partner, we started a few years ago, and it was out of a need. We both had small kids at the time, and they weren't in school yet, and we had no place to go. And we were like, we wish there was a place where we could go and take our kids, we could work, be productive, kids could play. And so we just kind of went, researching, digging around, trying to find what that looks like and other models of people who were doing it and if it was successful. And then we actually did open a pop-up location in Southwood. We had shut that down right before COVID, at the start of COVID. So we do hope to get that back up and going at some point in the next year or so, we hope to be able to have a space for women, with events and programming that's specifically catered to women, helping to start, grow their business, build their business, professional and personal development. And then ideally, that we could also have our kids, smaller kids in there, could have a room, maybe a homework room or somewhere that they feel comfortable. We feel comfortable having our kids play while we work.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Now, whenever I was, I've had a couple of careers before I was a lawyer. I was a law firm administrator and I was a paralegal. And I worked full time as long as my daughter's been alive. And it was the biggest stress I had in my life was childcare.
Yeah,
Am I leaving her with someone I'm comfortable with?
right.
And sometimes that didn't happen. And I'd have to
Yeah.
leave. I had to tell my boss one time, I was like, I just got a bad vibe when I dropped her
Mhm.
off. I'm going to go back and check it out. Sure enough, it was the right thing to do. There's a
Mhm.
bunch of drunk, passed out people. You know what I mean? Trust your judgment and trust your gut and do what it takes to protect your kid. But wouldn't that be so much easier if you were in a working environment where people supported that? Like I always insisted that we have a kid room. I call it a kid room. That's just if they're sick, but they're sick, they can't be at school, but you don't want to be home. This is before you
Yeah.
can work remotely,
Right.
obviously.
Yeah.
So I'd say, bring them in. You guys work. We had a workstation in there. Be in there. Even if you get 4 hours out of 8, at least it's something. So I think it's so important to make to realize that when you're supporting women, you have to support the whole woman.
Absolutely.
Everything
Yeah.
she's got going on. So many of us now are taking care of our parents, our spouses' parents. We're taking care of kids, sometimes
Yeah.
our siblings' kids. It could be
Yeah.
a number of things. So that used to be considered like, oh, you got kid. Oh, she
I
can't do
know.
it. She can't do it. And now it's like, no, honey, this is part of the package. So accommodate me. I insist.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Rose, what about you? What do you want to do to promote this Tallahassee as a city for women? What are you thinking?
Yeah, I was thinking, I mean, that's kind of what I wanted to know, and it's been answered to a certain extent, is like, what are the specific goals with regards to, are we looking for more homegrown women-owned businesses, attracting women-owned businesses from outside, organizations that support women? We talked about, like we had, like her name's Kelly Ott, I think, on
Yeah.
the
Mhm.
show, who had the Women Can Run thing. Are we trying to get more women in the legislature? So I'm down for any and all of it, man.
100%. And how do we get the recognition for it? Like, how do we get recognized, and who determines if it's a city, the top city for women? Who do we have to lobby?
Right.
Side.
That's
Yeah.
another campaign in itself. That's a whole nother campaign. Yeah, we just want to attract those women and promote those women as best we can in-house.
And the more women you have at the top, the more you
Yeah.
can bring people up. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. I'm looking at that frame behind you. What does it say? Not, don't, should, don't, could, do.
Oh,
What does it say?
should, would, could, did. All those are scratched out.
Should, would, could be. Yeah.
Yep.
Scratch out all those
Yep.
messages
Shoulda, coulda, woulda.
until you get down to do it, be it.
Yep.
Do it. I
That's
love it.
absolutely.
I love
Yep.
that. I want to talk a little bit about what you brought up. I don't know if it's what you intended to talk about, but you went there.
Okay.
Postpartum depression.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I had that. And I had
Mhm.
my daughter in 1994.
Mhm.
And I remember before I even left the hospital, I thought, I'm not feeling the what I'm supposed to be feeling.
Right.
I'm
Right.
supposed to be completely overjoyed. I'm
Yeah.
supposed to be and I'm like, I'm not feeling like that. And it kind of continued and it kind of continued. And I was flat. I wouldn't say, I don't know. I mean, depression is what depression is, but I felt
Yeah.
like I was flat, like I was not Dana. And
Mhm.
then after a while, I went for one of those checkups and I told my doctor, I said, I don't really have any motivation. I don't have any energy. I'm not feeling joy. And all I want to do is drink chocolate milk and eat chocolate chip cookies.
Mhm.
Well, that's obviously serotonin saying, hey,
Yeah.
serotonin.
You remember
But,
me?
but my doctor at the time, I mean, I'm not sure if it's good or bad advice, but he said, then you should drink chocolate milk and eat chocolate chip cookies. If that makes
Yeah.
you feel better, you should do that.
Yeah.
But that was just, like I said, it's 27 years ago. And so
Yeah.
I hope now that there's more help, because there needs to be at least an awareness. A lot of women who have this experience, they'll have it again. And the closer their children are together, the more likely they are to have it.
Absolutely.
So I just wish, and it just makes me think I want to do a show on this, an EmPower Hour on this, because I want to remove the stigma, because the first thing you do is feel like I have failed at the most essential part of being a woman. Does anybody else have anything they want to share on that before I drill down on Verlonda and make her answer all my hard questions?
You're probably on the next time that you have the topic about postpartum. Kimmy and I'll be crying, so get ready for it. But I would have to agree. You know, I'm still kind of slowly coming out of that postpartum situation where I'm not really a crier, but you randomly just cry. You find a little area, you think you're doing everything wrong, you body shame. You know, it's just a lot going on. And like you say, you need that self-care before you blow up and your husband is telling you to go to yoga.
Yeah.
I think that's the only thing I can say on that, is because, you know, long time ago, I don't like you, even before, you know, you had Whitney, I think they weren't looking at that as postpartum. They were just looking at it as,
you're aberrant. You're abnormal.
Get over it. You just had a baby. You'll be okay because you're a woman. And this is what you're supposed to go through.
Supposed to be so fulfilling.
Exactly. So I do understand. I get it. There are still some days where I'm in here body shaming because got to get rid of these 50 pounds. But
girl, how are you going to do that working here?
It's
these people bring us serious food almost every day. I don't even think about lunch, because I'm like, I'll just go by the office, because there'll be
nobody will bring us green smoothies. They won't bring us
put that evil
salad and lettuce. They will bring us.
They're bringing damn Carrabas. They're bringing damn Donut Kingdom. They're manipulating us.
Mary gets so upset. She was like, if I was at home, I would have a protein shake, but look at what I'm doing.
No, I'm having 3 donuts.
Oh, Lord.
That's 15, and I probably will eat at 11:30. That's how that's going. No, I know it. No, listen, let me tell you something else Barbara said, because Barbara Westcott, we've had her on here before, and she needs to come back. Said part of being a top city for women is knowing women, but also all city leaders knowing and believing that women are a critical part of a city's success. I do believe we have that. I do believe they have that in this community. She said co-working is all about having a place to do your work, but in a dynamic environment where you can connect and collaborate with others. The important part is the dynamic part, meaning the contacts, knowledge, and info you come across. It's constantly changing. You'll learn things and meet people that can be game changers for you and your efforts. That's 100% true. So many of us do our work and go home. We keep our heads down, we stay in our lanes, but people are not going to break your door down to make you successful. You've got to have an open door, and you've got to show up and be places, and you got to go, okay, you know what? I can pay somebody an extra hour to stay with that child. So I can go spend an hour with this group of people who are going to connect me with all kinds of people that are going to potentiate the success for my entire family. You know, that you got to change your mindset. Now a shout out for Verlonda. You started at work, and this is spelled little w, capital HER, little k, work. She said you were instrumental in understanding the lack of opportunity for mompreneurs. Mompreneurs to have a co-working environment friendly to the needs of moms and their young children. Because you know what, when you go up against a male-dominated world, and you go, I want to be here, but I got some kid things, I got things, they're going,
they don't understand.
You know, but I'm no, honey. I mean, no. And this is the great thing about women workers, in my opinion, is they are so much better because they have been juggling all these things. They're not one lane, you know, they're doing everything. Kimmy, I think of you constantly when I think of that. You know, Carrie Roan, she's a working mom. Her husband's an attorney, your husband's an attorney, your kids are younger, her kids are still, I mean, even though her kids are older, she's not at the finish line. Her kids have a million things going on all the time, travel, tennis, travel, this, school. But you find a way to make it work. Wouldn't you have loved some really grassroots support? You know, much easier.
Workspace sounds awesome. Go and work and let my kids play with other kids.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's
can be productive.
Well, it's kind of like multitasking.
Right.
You know, instead of having to make sure they got a play date, make sure they got to bring them.
Yeah.
And then they'll meet diverse, because you're trying to meet diverse people. Wouldn't it be
Absolutely.
great that that was an environment where your children could meet diverse people?
Mhm.
Mhm.
Working and playing together. Yep.
I love it. I love all of it. We are about to run out of time, but I want to make sure that we get some closing comments from everybody
Okay.
today. I want to start with you, Verlonda, and I want to end
Okay.
with you. But I want to
Okay.
hear about anything else you wanted to cover and make sure people knew
Yeah.
about today.
All right. So I do want everyone watching, all of you, I'd love for you to come and follow me on social media. It's Choosing Me Unselfishly on Instagram and Facebook. As of September, we're going to start our very first meetups. So we're going to meet up for some mama and me play dates. So bring the little ones. And then we're also going to meet up for just some happy hours, some lunchtime for just the moms to fellowship, get together. That will be throughout the fall semester. And I haven't even announced this one yet, but coming up the beginning of 2020, I am hosting a retreat in Savannah, Georgia, for moms to come together to unplug and reset. So we're going to do 3 nights, 4 days in Savannah just to unwind. The theme is no capes. And so the reason I said no capes is because I hate when people say, oh, you're a super mom. I hate that term because it's not a badge of honor for me. I don't want to be a super mom. I don't want to be a super boss. I just want to be, I'm just a mom. I'm just a mom. I'm just a wife. I'm just whatever. So I want you to leave your cape at home. You're not bringing it. You are not a super anything. You are just Dana. You're just Kia. You're just coming to be yourself. And that weekend's all about refreshing. We'll do a couple of workshops, but for the most part, you're just relaxing. You're just resetting to get back. So those are some things that are coming up, but follow me on Instagram and Facebook at Choosing Me Unselfishly.
I love this. A couple of things.
Yep.
Super mom. If you're a
Yep.
super mom or a super worker, you're kind of diminishing the ones who aren't doing as much as you're doing. And I want everybody to feel very empowered and comfortable with the choices that they're making.
Yep.
If you don't want to have outside projects, if you do want to 100% live a biblical life,
Yeah.
I want people to be empowered with the choices they make. I don't want this to be a competition. I don't want women who don't work outside the home or women
Absolutely.
who have chosen, certain roles. I don't want them to feel like they're being left out of a feminist movement.
Right.
Yeah.
Feminism is
Yeah.
about empowering you and your
Right.
choices, making you feel good and well supported. It's not about dicing us up. You're
Absolutely.
not a bad feminist if you don't feel this way or you vote this way. You're not about, there isn't that. It's about realizing that you didn't lose the gender lotto. You are not a second class citizen. You're a whole person. You're a contributing member of society, no matter what it is that you choose to do. I'm 100% about that. Whether you have children and you dedicate yourself to that, or you decide that's just not for you.
Right.
You shouldn't have to explain your choices because of your gender.
Right.
You shouldn't have to say, I choose not to be married, and here's why.
Mm-hmm.
No, screw that. Or I choose to dedicate myself 100% to my children, here's why. Or I've chosen to not have my own children. Whatever. Okay,
Yeah.
you don't owe anybody an explanation for your
Right.
life choices, but so many times you feel like you have to explain yourself. I hate that. So I love the no capes because we're moms.
Yeah.
Yep.
Some of us
That's
do
it.
different things, but there's no super mom.
Yeah.
Because that necessarily means there has to be a substandard mom.
Absolutely.
Who wants to sign up for the
Absolutely.
no? And then the other thing of retreats, I want to talk
Yeah.
about that. That is so powerful. I started doing this. Our law partner, Jimmy Fasig, is quite a one of a kind human being. He does this goal setting thing the first week in January, and he's been doing it for a long time. And I went with him this year for the first time. Kimmy, you went too, didn't you? Didn't you
Yeah.
go? Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a game changer.
Yeah.
It was just a time to get away, to feel supported in what you're doing, to challenge some things you're struggling with, get some
Right.
feedback from people who want you to do well, whose opinions you respect. I think that's a good thing. We did one, honestly, as progressive as we think we are, we just don't keep up with some things, but we had a firm retreat, a partner retreat, best weekend.
Yeah.
Weekend. We
Yep.
we need to do it again. It's been like 3 years now. We need to do a firm retreat. We need to do more recognition of our people for everything. We need to show more appreciation. So don't feel guilty when you do that. I went to one with a group of women I only knew one of them. Most of them were from the Bay Area. One's from Nashville. So they're from all over. The most enriching thing, and I still keep up with these people today.
I bet.
You know, there's so many things out there, but just retreat doesn't mean retreat like it does in war.
Right.
Sometimes it means get to a safe place surrounded by safe, people who promote you. So I love every bit of that.
Thank you.
Kia, what are you thinking as we wind up today? Your closing comments or questions or concerns?
I think one of the biggest things that I've been thinking about is kind of like how Atlanta uses their school system, so to speak, their university system, to try to keep people there. That's how they always have such, you know, a big amount of people just saying, I'm going to stay in Atlanta. I think this initiative will be something amazing to actually have women wanting to stay here, raise their families, and be a part of the professional scene, no matter what it is, whether it's a mompreneur or, you know, all the way up to a senator. So I think this initiative can go that far. So those are some of the things I've been thinking of.
Yeah.
Knowing how Atlanta kind of used their whole diverse way of thinking and their progressive way of thinking. That's how they have, you know, kept a lot of their students there for so long. I think this initiative will be a big part of us keeping people here longer and not just wanting to come here for school and then leave. Kind of like what Dana said, we really only have one Tallahassee person that's here. Everybody else is from all these different places. Tallahassee is a wonderful place to stay. There are certain places that I go down, like Canopy Roads, and you're just like, wait a minute, there's people who stay back there. But if we start doing these type of initiatives, it'll promote people to want to be here because they see how progressive things are going. So I think this is great. That's my thought and 2 cents on it. Hopefully we can dig in that deep to make it like that, because I'm willing to help.
Good. Okay.
Let me tell you. Go ahead. Let me tell you why I'm turned on about what Kia just said. I got chills because you are in the capital city of the third biggest state in the entire nation, in the coolest, badassest nation in the world.
Right.
So if you are here making a difference for women in this capital city, that will inform the people who do business here, represent people here, get elected here, and then that grows. You know, we're sitting on a gold mine. We are. And so we get these people turned on about it, and then it proliferates. Next thing you know, the whole world is celebrating women. The whole nation, the whole world is celebrating women. So it's almost, I feel like it's almost duty. It's almost an obligation, because we have got so much talent here. I mean, there's a lot of weird little things about Tallahassee. You know, I don't know why we show up on Dateline as much as we do, but we do. Okay. Just got some crazy stuff here, but we also have some immense talent. Some people just, I mean, you wouldn't believe the people in this community, and they want to build people up. And there's a room here. That's what I've always felt like. I mean, I came into my own here. I came from Pensacola, and I didn't feel like that was a place for me. I didn't feel like my energy was going to work there, but I've never felt like that here. I just think we're sitting on a gold mine. Rose, as we wind up today, what are your final thoughts and concerns?
Well, I think we're running out of time. They are going to turn our server off at 5:30.
Uh-oh. All right.
So I won't regale you with what I've really been thinking about, which is the movie, the children's movie, Beethoven, about the random St. Bernard. I rewatched it last night. It came out when I was 4 years old. I was shocked how many topics that we've talked about that it touches on, because this mom in that is a stay-at-home mom. The husband is trying to pressure her to go back to work, but he wants her to work at his company that he runs, and it's like we've been all over all of this.
That's
and
so cool.
so, you know, see me offline to hear my full thoughts on Beethoven.
Oh my God, plus they had that big ass dog she's got to pick up after. That's a big dog. No, screw that. Damn Charles. And you know, the thing about him, he died recently. He's a wonderful man. He was a brilliant spokesperson. He was an agitator. I loved him as a human. But yeah, that show could use an update. All right.
It was good. She stood her ground, and she made him, you know, become a family man and do what he had to do. But yeah.
No, there's a lot of arcs, little moves like that. Kimmy, what are you thinking of as we close?
I know we got to hop off, but I'd love for people to go to the comments, and especially you, Verlonda, to say what y'all do for self-care. Because I just
Okay.
love to hear what everybody watching and especially
Yeah.
what you are doing to choose yourself unselfishly.
That's
Yeah.
okay.
Meditation is a lot of it. You know, learn to meditate, learn to have a little bit of time to yourself. But thank you, Verlonda. Thank you
Thank
so much for
you.
joining us. Thank you, Barbara Westcott, for all your input and encouragement all the time. And we will see you again next Thursday at 4:30 for another episode of the EmPower Hour. If you have someone you think would be a great guest, I want you to reach out to us, Dana@facingbrooks.com, and we will get them on. And we appreciate your support every week. Goodbye, y'all.